And welcome back for another GACC Podcast. This week we're going to talk again about games, anime, computers, collectibles, but not necessarily all of those in a week. I am your host, Harrison. To my left...
Hi, I'm Faust.
And to my right...
I'm James.
And we're going to talk about the news of the week. But first, I'm going to start by talking about some analytics in regards to our own stuff with Jenny Fedora. So I've been looking over some stuff on the Facebook page for Jenny Fedora Productions, and the analytics are interesting. This last week, we've been getting a lot of people from Arizona have been liking the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, we've had one new one from up near Farmington, but Arizona seems to be where everyone's kind of catching and listening to us. So thank you, Arizona.
Glad to have you aboard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Colorado, they're also in there, but they haven't even blipped the radar at all. I don't know why. So
All that pot they're smoking.
all the pot, you would think they'd be watching us more.
Probably. Well, I don't know. I mean, stoners really care about tech podcasts?
I really don't know.
Maybe.
I
don't know.
So, and we've from looking at the analytics for the Jenny Fedora website at www.jennyfedora.com, it seems like right now we're hitting about 35 users around the time that the podcast is actually put out on iTunes and on Google Play, and probably directly at the website too. So we know you're listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. So, Faust, do you have anything you'd like to actually start us off with this week?
Well, just sticking with the trend of what everybody's been talking about, unfortunately, all week, the only thing I've really seen pop up in the news with any regularity has been No Man's Sky and everything that's surrounding its release and bugginess and general problems with it. Lately, they've just released a patch a couple of days ago as of this recording. But we have yet to see any patch notes of what it actually changes. They do claim that it fixes about 70% of reported issues for those people that have reported it. But they've also, I think one of the spokesmen, I can't remember his name, the spokesman actually said that for all of the people who are having problems, it is a small part of the actual people who are buying and playing the game. But still, I mean, it's the most popular game, best-selling game on Steam, has been since launch. And so even if it's a small percentage of those people who are playing it, it's still a lot of people who are having problems with this game.
Yeah.
And for them to fix it, I downloaded the patch. I couldn't not download the patch. Thank you, Steam. But I have no clue what it fixed. I wasn't having any issues with it.
So they didn't say anything?
They haven't said anything as of yet.
So it's just, there's a fix. Here's a fix.
Here's a fix.
Huh. Okay.
And it's, you can pretty much glean what it did fix, but still, a patch without patch notes.
Well, come on. To be honest with you, how many people actually read the patch notes? Okay. Well, you two are awesome because I don't read the patch notes.
Trust me.
If it's a game I like, I'm just like, are they fixing it? It's fixed. Great.
World of Warcraft and Diablo 3 taught me to read patch notes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft does do that, yeah.
Because you will log in without reading the patch notes and be like, where's that, But
that can be the fun because you're like, ooh, what happened now?
But Pally's had 3 bubbles.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, wait, why is my skill tree reset? Yeah.
Great. I got to put my talents in again.
Yeah, I'm not going to jump on this WoW wagon.
This WoW bagging? WoW bagging. Baggins.
You're WoW bagging.
Yes. So, I think that this seems really odd and unprecedented that No Man's Sky has put out patch 1.04 for the PlayStation and the PC. Okay.
And that's the only thing that's holding it up on the PlayStation is Sony's approval system.
No, it's out there.
Yeah, well, it got delayed because of it has to be approved by Sony.
Oh, I thought it got put out. Okay.
No.
But the thing is, it's like, there's no patch notes. I've not heard of this with a game.
But
patch notes usually go hand in hand with a patch. And we're talking, it's been days and there's silence.
I bet what it was is the patch itself is probably some major problem that it was like they missed a semicolon somewhere, like some real new programmer mistake, and they don't want to own up to it that they fixed this one thing and it solved so many problems. Like when they switched over to the redistributable VC++.
Well, hey, at least
whatever,
their updates aren't as bad as some updates I've seen where you have to get update 1 or you can't get update 2 or 3. I mean, yeah, they forgot the notes, but at least they fixed it.
But do we know it's really fixed? They said, we fixed it!
Have you had any problems?
So I wasn't having many problems at all to begin with. I only had the game crash on me once, and it was a verified repeatable bug, which was I'd load up my save. I talked to a guy on a planet at a station somewhere.
Yeah.
Do the thing with him. Do everything inside the building, and then there was a side building, one of those ones you walk into to get extra stuff like multi-tool plans or ship plans or something like that. And as soon as I went in there and tried to access the multi-tool plan, of which I have found all of them apparently because I'm not getting any new ones, but as soon as I hit that, the game would just crash.
Really?
And so the way I fixed it was don't go in that building.
Well, that makes sense.
And I go to a completely different building and it doesn't crash so it was like that one building with that one multi-tool plans apparently crashed the game.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding, both of you, that you're saying that you would like some patch notes.
Damn straight.
Saying what's been fixed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you have no way of verifying it's been fixed.
Right. It's knowing that stuff gives me all
I
sorts
haven't
of
played the
warms and
game,
fuzzies.
so I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, but once again, most popular best-selling game on Steam since its release. Probably even before its release. I mean, it was getting up there. And it's been having this many problems with the launch, which is not unheard of, especially for a small team, independent launch kind of thing. But still, they're getting a heavy backlash for all of this, and that's just icing. Now, no patch notes on a patch that supposedly fixes a majority of the problems. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying that I should wait to buy this game?
No. No. The game is still good, just like we had talked about last week. It's just frustrating. It's like these are weird things we haven't seen in the industry. I still say buy the game. It's still a good game. It's still going to work on your system. Mm-hmm. But I'm not used to not seeing patch notes. It's like it's almost like they said, we put out, we have a new Harry Potter book, but we haven't published it yet.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
I think the only reason I would say I would support this is because it is a small team. It is an independent game. Okay. And if it were a big AAA title, something that was really well expected and,
like Blizzard
has a good pedigree behind it. Yeah, if Blizzard was doing this, then I'd say hold off. Don't buy the game. Because we need to say if it was a big developer doing this, we need to send them a message that this shit is independent stuff. But this is an independent studio, and they're doing the best that they can with the resources that they have, and they need support. They need to know that the game they have is something people want to play, and they need to know that one of the things they're learning is we're going to play it the way we want to, whether they like it or not. Because the other thing that's been happening is a huge mod community has built up around No Man's Sky
already,
and they are back. What's the word?
Backlash.
Reverse engineering. They're reverse engineering a lot of the game. They're doing things like there's mods to remove what they call the Instagram filter from the game that apparently takes it and makes it a little bit more brighter and crisper and everything because it's got this weird kind of hazy brown filter over it or something.
Please tell me the modders have made it so that when my suit hits 75%, it doesn't go. It's low.
It's low.
It's low. Yeah, it's 75%.
There is a mod to fix the suit audio. There is a mod to fix. There's pretty much if you think it's a problem with the game, there's probably a mod to fix it.
Yeah, there's always mods. Modders always exist.
Yeah, but the thing was, the main spokesman, I can't remember, Sean, I think.
Sean Murray.
Sean Murray. One of the things that he's quoted with saying is, we would like to get those mod tools out to people before modding begins, because the worst thing to fear, what his biggest fear about the game was people going into the actual code of the game and ripping it apart there.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's like, we've been hit with problem after problem. Supposedly, like, I haven't had any real issues.
Right.
The bulk of people who are buying this game aren't having any real issues. But the people who do have a problem are the ones, anybody in any kind of situation, the people you'll hear from the most are the ones who do have problems.
Of course.
And so they're the most outspoken. There's what we're hearing. They're the ones who put up, 20,000 negative reviews on Steam, and it's still the most, it's still selling gangbusters. So
you're looking at 10% of the people who bought it have basically put negative reviews.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
modding will happen.
Like 90% of the people use PCs and 10% use Mac, and they only write viruses for the 90% and not the 10%.
Right.
That's actually kind of dated information. There's
Shut
viruses
up.
everywhere now.
It's a reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the nice...
Just because it's the 70s reference.
Let's put it this way.
Mac
Mac OS was virus-free up until they made the claim that it was virus-free.
Right, and then someone's all, challenge accepted.
Yeah, basically.
And this guy was like, challenge accepted.
That's basically just, like hiking your ass up, pulling your pants down and saying, free.
Free.
Untouched, unclaimed land here.
Yeah. Wow.
That's gross, dude. Really? Wow.
That's awful.
Wow.
So if you're still having problems running No Man's Sky, it's a good time to be in the market, because I think a lot of people that have been having problems have been on laptops.
Our older video cards.
Or older processors.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of issues with older processors, but also laptops. People complaining about it not running on laptops. Well, NVIDIA finally announced their new laptop graphics cards this week, and I think this is a good time. I think we're hitting a paradigm shift again, especially with...
I was excited to hear this news.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really. I saw that as well.
Yeah, so the new 1000 series NVIDIA cards, they are dropping the M nomenclature from all their graphics cards going into the new generations of laptops. So the 1060, 1070s, and 1080s are not specifically mobile. They are, but at the same time,
so to clarify, because this is what the implication is, if anybody just sort of glances at this, is that the 1000 series NVIDIA cards in a laptop are going to be up to the same performance specs as the actual 1000 series cards for PCs.
They are.
Okay.
The only slight caveats on this is they're talking there's maybe a few hertz less on the CPU, maybe a few hertz less on the memory for these graphics cards, but it's the same platform for once. They're not really neutering it, and a lot of this comes because of the power efficiencies that have been being worked on for graphics cards. So we've hit a generation of graphics cards where it was more about driving power efficiencies than actual power, and now we're seeing the benefits of it when it comes to the laptops. So we are going to be hitting a new interesting generation for the laptops, because you're really going to say, yeah, I really do have desktop power in a laptop. And I think it's just going to make things so much nicer gaming wise and everything like that too, because you're not looking at like a 970M or a 950M or whatever that's going to be severely neutered compared to its desktop counterpart, because I think the 980Ms were the equivalent of like a 750 Ti in the desktops. So that's a huge neutering. And
well, I don't know. I kind of broke out of the whole portable laptop gaming scene. I killed a laptop. It was around the time Borderlands came out. And I'm an absolute fanboy for Borderlands. So when I had some free time at work and I wanted to go and play, I had basically permission to play at work. I would take my laptop in and play Borderlands. And even though I beat Borderlands, it was an HP laptop. And, it kind of just power melted something somewhere, heat things happened, and it just basically became a dead laptop.
And that's been the huge problem in the past with gaming on a laptop. So, it looks like they may have finally be fixing this. I think Asus is putting out one that's going to be a 1080 SLI laptop that comes with a...
Yeah, I think I shared that. Yeah.
Two cards.
Two cards, and it comes with a dock. Okay? So what ends up happening with it is, while it is undocked, it runs just one card, when it is on its stock, which is what it needs for the extra power, it runs both cards. So, and I believe it also ups the clock rate for the GPUs. And they're coming with like 4K monitors on these things now.
Oh man,
17 inches 4K.
So I've recently just gotten access. My roommate upgraded to a 4K television, and I'm still trying to see it.
Really?
Like I really don't.
You do understand there's a distance where you'll see the difference, right? That's what he was telling me.
I should actually just probably sit down and put on some, like, find something 4K and actually watch it and actually
that would help
see
too.
if I can see it. Because right now, I mean, glasses since high school, I don't really see it. Like, I don't know. The other thing was, so this information came out. These gaming laptops, you posted about one, and he posted about another. The thing that I wanted to get lost in is something that's been pointed out before, and it's been happening for quite a while. What is it with the gaming scene, especially the gaming hardware scene, and making everything black and red?
With making everything black and red?
Black and red. Like Razer's does the black and green thing. Like, that's their thing.
Asus does like black and orange.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the one I shared?
Yes.
Yeah.
So. It's a 1080, right?
1070.
270s?
No, 1070.
1070?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's black and red.
Just kind of weird. It's a weird aesthetic, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's true, because also the gamers, the GROG or whatever that our roommate has.
The ROG?
ROG.
Yeah.
Republican, what is it called?
Republic of Gamers.
Yeah. There you go, Republic of Gamers. That's a certain color too. But that's just standard black, though.
Well, the thing I like about the ROG specifically is it's matte black. Mm-hmm. I hate piano black. I absolutely loathe piano black because it picks up everything. It picks up dust and pet hair and lint and fingerprints.
Like pianos or what?
I like it on a piano, but having a piano means you have somebody who can take care of that piano and keep it shiny. It's piano black on every single piece of electronics for the better part of the early 2000s was kind of pissing me off.
Well,
okay.
But the other thing that kind of pisses me off, and this is the point I was trying to get to, is I'm a 90s kid. One of the things that was really cool back in the 90s, if something was popular at all, especially for teenagers or younger, the one thing you could be guaranteed that came out was a clear version. I had that clear phone. I just recently picked up a Rock Candy Xbox controller for just gaming on the go, and I was surprised by how pleased I was that, number one, it was clear, even though there was no real moving parts behind it. But that it was clear and I could see all the little diodes and chips and everything inside. But I was sitting going, why haven't I ever seen a laptop come out or a notebook? I don't know what they're calling them now these days, but even a netbook or some smaller computer or a phone or something, like you can get special cases for your phones.
Yeah, you can.
But yeah, there's no clear. Like,
that's
when
more
did that
of a
change?
90s thing.
Is that a 90s thing?
That's like a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
Right
it's
there.
It's more than just that. I mean, there's really no moving parts, unless you're talking about on a desktop, and there's so much dust anyways. It's really the desktops that start clear or windowed cases. A laptop, the thing is you really do typically need the metal and casings and everything there to help dissipate heat. There's really no moving parts in a laptop.
And there's no exposed boards to show off.
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
Nothing to show off.
But then so the aesthetic these days seems to be hard edges, black with some other bright color,
like red
and on top of that, it seems like they're all sort of pushing away from the standard rectangle footprint.
So, what are you saying? You want to go back to the ugly beige boxes, or you want to go back to the iMacs?
Okay, it might be coming out wrong, or it might be I'm not putting the right tone on this or anything. I'm not complaining. Like, they look cool. It's just in the way that I learned how to operate computers is these towers were always kind of kept out of the way off the desk. And now it seems like they're trying to take up a space on the desk, yet maintain the same like square space of footprint.
You haven't delved enough into a lot of the desktops or cases, or even the smaller cases, because they are making cases smaller. They're making different aesthetics. Mm-hmm. HP has a cube computer that's coming out that's like the HP Envy with like a 1070 or something. And
I thought that was Lenovo.
It's a dual. They're a joint thing.
Okay. No. The HP is Envy.
Okay.
And they are making.
Wait, don't you mean
a cube case
like this one right here? I think they're calling it HP's doing this thing called the Omen X. Is that what you're talking about? This thing right here?
The Omen.
The Omen X. And then Lenovo is coming out with something they're calling the Y710.
Yeah, the Y's always been their gaming series, but the Omen, the HP Omen, is a cube. Okay, and so that is basically a square computer, and it's sitting 45 degrees, and so it's a different aesthetic.
On these, I'm just going to be devil's advocate here. It's sitting 45 degrees. It's this gigantic cube on these little flimsy rocket fins. Mm-hmm. It looks like it has 4 or 5 inch bays, and then all of the buttons and access ports, so your like headphones and SD card reader and everything, are on the top exposed side. And looks like it might have some space for cooling in it. Of course, it's going to have cooling in there. Mm-hmm. I don't see any front case sort of display or anything, though I'm imagining that these red bits glow.
Possibly.
Most likely.
You know, there's probably already built-in stuff for cable management and liquid cooling and things like that. But, I mean, this thing, even though it looks like it might be a smaller footprint, like there's no size comparison here, this thing looks like it'll stand out.
It will.
It will.
I mean, they're starting to treat cases like cars. Mm-hmm. You know, so that way they're flashy and everything like that.
I don't know why.
I'm trying to think of a better way, a family-friendly way of saying this, but this is all just playing into the property phallus, I think, where, you know, it's your computer is made to sit there and compute, to have it look pretty. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you want to take to a con or a LAN event or something like that.
Exactly.
But if they're trying to market this towards the home gamer, I mean, they're going to have to push it really big, because I mean, I don't really sit there and look at my case and just go, I'm just going to sit here and look at my case.
It's not for you to look at your case. It's for you to, when your buddies come over, you can go,
like
look
when we
at
were
my
kids.
case. Yeah.
Remember when we were kids, we show off our Nintendo system, we show off how much games we beat.
Yeah, but those were like, I mean, we were still showing off the games. You weren't showing off the system. Yeah. I mean, even when Nintendo came out with the 64 and it had those like different colored
controllers?
64 ones. Well, yeah, and the controllers and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Pikachu edition.
I mean, people would just be like, "Oh, cool, you got the red one. Do you have Ocarina of Time?" You know, it's
do you have Ocarina of Time? I want to play that game.
Yeah, I mean, they figured out that if you actually have something that stands out and looks different, it's going to have better aesthetic appeal. I mean, nobody wants their computer to look like everybody else. Everybody wants to personalize their stuff nowadays, and so the markets like Alienware, I think, kind of started this along with Voodoo PC before it was bought by HP.
I do remember being taken in by Alienware before they were bought up by Dell.
Yeah,
I would go to their website just to put together a computer.
I know, right?
And
you look at it like that's magnificent.
And it's like, I wish I had
$14,000 to spend on that.
I mean, they looked absolutely awesome, and I do admit the look of your computer is important. I mean, the getting away from the beige or the basic black box is an important thing.
Well, at least it's not when they were doing with everything had a round corner to it. All the laptops had that round.
Yeah, I mean, they did do the rounded thing. I think Apple kind of started that with the G series.
And then, like, you get the crack, and then it's like a tiny little crack, and then suddenly that crack turns into a bigger crack.
Yeah, screw those rounded corners.
See?
iMacs.
There you go.
Back in the day.
There you go. You hate that one. He hates that one.
I don't know.
We all hate stuff.
I mean, that's the problem with aesthetic. Is aesthetic will please a good amount of people, but it will also displease a good amount of people as well.
That's true.
Like, you know, I mean, the coolest builds I've seen as far as like custom cases and things like that are the ones where they're built into Lexan desktops, or there's some sort of wall-mounted thing. And I know liquid cooling is kind of making this possible. Yeah. But the more I see, it's like, you know, having it in the desk would be great. Having it on the wall would be less great, because in both situations, dust becomes your problem. Yes. And so when these people have these big artsy cases, especially open exposed cases, I think they must spend a good amount, like I'm talking hours a day, or minutes a day, hours a week, dusting. Which
you're overputting it. It's maybe once a month or every 3 months, or before you're going to go take it somewhere, because quite honestly, the dust buildup in those is not that bad. Well, except for us in New Mexico.
I was like, have you seen these computers where they open up and it's like, toosh.
Yeah, we are in the state of dust.
Yeah,
like, oh man.
Yeah,
imagine living in a place that's too moisture.
That's one of those weird things. Like they don't really have this back east or in other states very much, where dust isn't much of a problem. But here it is actually a building code where doors, especially outward accessing doors, need to have the bottom strips, the weather strips, to keep that stuff out.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have that, you would be in a whole world of hurt, because it would actually destroy furniture and
they just have other issues,
accessories and stuff like that.
We all have our issues,
I guess.
Yeah, because
it's true. Like, we're not humid at all.
Yeah, exactly. Humid places have their issues.
Okay, we've sidetracked.
Yeah, we are sidetracking.
So, getting back into the thing that we were talking, the hardware thing.
The hardware in cases.
There was the broken webcams with the anniversary update. We didn't talk about that last week very much.
Well, we touched on it, but it's now starting to become acknowledged, because it was like, it kind of, we personally experienced issues with this.
So Microsoft has made some interesting choices. One is what they actually did to break the webcams. And then another one is how they're going to handle updates for 7 and 8.1 from this point onward, or as of the 16th of September onward.
Yeah.
So first, when Microsoft did the anniversary update, they pushed all of their webcam software away from basically the most popular ways to run a webcam, like the H.264 bandwidth codec and
MJPEG.
Yeah, and they pushed it into their own, I guess it's their own kind of in-house kind of thing. Is that an in-house, or is it just a lesser heard of one or something?
It's a lesser heard of one.
It's changing the propriety. Yeah, It's making it proprietary and making people having to adopt a new thing. And I can understand this. It's still a shady way that software and hardware kind of does this sort of stuff, is to make sure that they keep pushing an industry. It's not necessarily pushing it forward, it's just pushing it around. And I think this is what's been going on, is Microsoft is somehow thinking somewhere, in some way, they're pushing somebody around. And unfortunately, they broke a heavy percentage of the amount of webcams out there, especially one of the most popular webcams to be used, which is what, the C920s. The C920s. Yeah. If the C920s, the most popular and most suggested and recommended webcam out there, is not working with Windows 10 Anniversary, that's Microsoft's problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was a huge issue. It's because using the Logitech webcam software, the compression on it is a lot smaller. Okay. And using their YUY2 encoder for the MPEG-4 or whatnot just made the file sizes with the webcam using the Microsoft 10 webcam app ginormous. And on top of it, it ate up more resources. We literally had to take our C920 webcams and move them off to a separate device for recording, because they just ate up so much resources that they were hurting the recording quality that we were experiencing.
Our audio, if you go back a couple of shows, our audio, that's what happened. The anniversary update killed the webcam bandwidth, and in a sense, it hurt our audio recording.
Gotcha.
It did.
Yeah, and it's kind of bad, because nobody's really going to see the webcam footage, because it's kind of a backup. The only way that they see the webcam footage is if our main camera doesn't work.
Yeah,
and it does. It's been very reliable. So
they see it. They see it for a few of our Let's Plays and whatnot too.
It's true, but that's how we do our face cam and things like that. So it's important that we get this fixed. And so far, there are a couple of fixes back in the back room. Some not official Microsoft fixes, but there are some.
Somebody came up with a fix.
There's some workarounds. The other thing is, and I'm still kind of researching this, but I wanted to bring this up, and we'll probably cover it more next week. Microsoft is rolling out.
Well, wait. Yeah. Let me.
Okay.
I want to.
You got more to add in?
Yeah, I want to add something in. Yeah. So this actually goes back around to conspiracy theory that we talked about.
Oh, like the tin hat stuff, tinfoil hats.
Tinfoil hats that we talked about. From
Get your hats, folks.
Tim Sweeney. Okay. So this actually at least gives a little bit of validation to Tim Sweeney's claim that Microsoft is plotting to break Steam and monopolizing games with the Windows 10 store, because they just did it with webcams, trying to force a codec on everybody. Because now, if you're on a Windows 10 machine after the anniversary update, if you were using the Logitech software, sorry, it doesn't work.
So sad.
Yeah, so it forced us into using their webcam app. Now, granted, there were some things I like about it better, but at the same point, it caused a lot of issues. And, we ended up having to spend money to get away from that issue. I mean, if they're willing to do this with the webcam stuff, and then millions and millions of webcam users are broke, and even in Skype, their own software, they're broke in Skype too. Mm-hmm. If they're willing to do this here and not patch it for almost a month, you know, it.
They don't even. I don't think have they even acknowledged it. Really,
they have acknowledged it. They have acknowledged it, and they said we are going to fix this, but it's not going to be till September.
What?
Yeah, so it's like September 17th. They're not going to fix it until that time. And this is.
I think I know who they're pushing around now.
The consumers.
Yeah,
but it.
Which is that's nothing new for Microsoft.
Yeah, but it kind of makes me go back to what Tim Sweeney said of Epic Games in regards to Gears of War 4, you know, and the games for Windows, and go.
It's true.
Maybe there's a little bit of validation in his
on Gears of War,
in his crackpot, you know, in his crackpot play of saying Microsoft's got to go break Steam and make it unusable.
Yeah.
So
sure.
You know, I'm at least going to keep an eye out. You know, so got that tinfoil hat a little on.
So. I'm gonna be kind of on the fence about that and be like, okay, Microsoft may make a push for something like that. I don't think they're necessarily going to actually outwardly and blatantly try to break Steam, but I've been proven wrong before. But I think it's going to be they're gonna push, and they're gonna get pushed back.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be something to witness.
There will be a battle, but Microsoft has typically won the war on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So
just by being like, well, this is how it's done. And
software as a service, you know, and annual licensing for products, they're getting there. There's been huge battles with that. But Office 365, you keep pushing, it starts to become accepted.
Yeah, at this point, I'm thinking about just getting Office 365 so they will shut up.
Yeah.
Because every time I boot Windows 10, they go, you don't have the latest version of Office. And it shows up as a very important message on my message center. And I'm like, this isn't a problem for me. I don't use Office. The only time I used Office was when I was a student and I got a student discount on Office. You know,
they just want you to keep drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And like, okay, first, number one, there are plenty of free alternatives to Office that will get this stuff done. There are plenty of online alternatives to Office that you don't even have to download or install.
But they're not Office.
And you know, there are plenty out there that are Office compatible that you can actually send people documents that are still usable in Office.
Google Docs.
Yeah. Yeah, basically go use Google Docs. If you want to put the byte in there, that's the thing about it is the consumers outweigh the providers. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the consumers realize this and push back, what I can envision is both Steam and Microsoft having some knockdown, drag out schoolyard fight, and then the consumers run in like the friggin' recess teacher and pull them apart and be like, okay, both of you, time out. Go sit in your corners.
Yeah.
You know?
Go sit in your corners.
Because we put up with this stuff because you guys haven't been too difficult to deal with thus far. And yeah, we might put up with a lot of stuff, but the two major distributors out there battling and vying for consumer public is just going to push the consumers away from them.
True story.
And even then, if Microsoft breaks Steam, what's to say that they won't break... That doesn't really mean that they won't break... that they will break Origin or GOG, which both have their own distribution systems. Bungie has its own distribution system now. I mean, a lot of...
Really?
Yeah. Uplay is its own...
That's not Bungie. That's Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft. Sorry, not Bungie.
But they break themselves.
Yeah, Ubisoft just does it.
I'm just saying. For example, you know, there are more distribution systems out there than Steam. Steam is the biggest one. It's the most popular one, but that's because it's the easiest to use, and it's not throwing its weight around very much.
It's also been in the market for like 12 years.
Yeah. So it's established, but it's just as easy to push consumers away from it if they're just gonna make it more and more difficult. The ease of use is the important part. If you can make it easy for people to do it, it doesn't matter if it's make it easy for them to punch themselves in the balls. They're still going to do it because it's easy.
True.
Yeah.
So, James.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
you started to mention something about Gears of War because you posted on it for the new Gears of War 4. Is that something you want to talk about, or was there something else?
That was last week, man.
Okay.
I forgot that.
Well, is there something else you want to talk about this week?
Yeah, there's a few, because you guys were talking about No Man's Sky, and I had posted about a bunch of open world games, and I came across one that was basically Portal meets Jurassic Park meets virtualization, which is
Robinson
the
Journey.
Robinson the Journey.
Makes me want to buy a PS4 just so I can play that.
So let's...
Because it's a puzzle game.
So it's on PS4.
Yeah, it's their virtual environment system.
So strike one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it's essentially it's what we wanted as kids for the Virtual Boy to be. And, and it also has Jurassic Park because dinosaurs. Come on.
It's a Crytek endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a gigantic open world puzzle game where you have dinosaurs, man. It's pretty awesome.
So it's a puzzle game.
That's what Portal is.
Okay. So wait a minute. Okay, so puzzle game and Portal are slightly different things.
Portal is a puzzle game, buddy.
Okay, but you said it's across
I said
Portal.
It's like puzzle.
When you said it's like Portal, it makes me think pew pew, and I'm going to be going through portals.
Not like that. It's like Portal with the puzzles.
So it's like puzzles, like a puzzle game, like Myst.
You solve, like Myst, but you solve, but you're a third person view, not first person.
Okay.
And
so now I'm on a better page because I was hearing Portal and I was thinking,
like, how would they justify Portal without it being just blatantly Portal?
Why not Portal?
Yeah. Okay.
God, you're like a 5-year-old kid. It's a puzzle game.
This is important, and No Man's Sky is teaching us this, that if you say something's going to be something and then it isn't something,
and you're going to get pissed
off.
You
get a whole lot of crap in your mailbox.
It looks like a pretty awesome game, man.
Okay.
I honestly I would totally buy a PS4 and the virtual system just to play it.
So you're willing to spend, what, $1,000 basically to play this game?
It's basically, it's $1,000 to do VR.
It looks beautiful.
And it's even more if you have to get a room to use it all in.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Space is a requirement for VR. It's unfortunate, but true.
There's no release date on this game yet, though, either.
It's not. It just, if you watch the demo, it's pretty good. There's no release.
No, there are demo copies going out. So there are review copies going out. So it may be probably, I could see them sneaking it out either just before the Christmas rush or just after the Christmas rush. But right now we're coming into fall, which means that we're going to start seeing the pre-Christmas releases and then the holiday releases. I can't say Christmas, pre-holidays.
As long as this doesn't become like The Guardian, which was promised for the PS3, then it went to the PS4, and it keeps getting shown off every year at E3.
That looks so awesome, but I'm tired of just seeing that it looks awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that looks so pretty. Is it out? No. Well, fuck you.
Okay, come on, guys. Shadow of the Colossus was great. I'm going to say that. It was one of my favorite games on the PS2. It was one of the...
What, you didn't like Ico?
No. Anybody who likes Ico is lying.
I liked it.
No, you didn't.
I played 40 hours. See, look at that. No, you didn't. I played that game for like 40 hours.
You liked bits of Ico. You didn't like the actual game behind Ico.
I liked the game. I didn't like carrying the person around with me.
See?
But I liked the game.
You didn't like the game. Beating shadow monsters off of a mute princess. and then go to the next room where what do? You beat shadow monsters off of the princess.
She wasn't that mute, okay? She kept going, bakwa, bakwa.
See? Nobody, Ico looked pretty. Ico had a mysterious edge to it so that you were trying to put together the story. And I guess it might have had some resolution that made it solidified it as one of the games that people keep bringing up when they say, what's an arty game that actually did good? And I will admit this, Ico's an arty game. It did good. It's not a good game. Shadow of the Colossus was a good game.
Man, you see what I did here? Shadow of the Colossus is a good game, though.
Yes. So the Guardian stands a chance of being something kind of a mix between Ico and Shadow of the Colossus from what it looks like.
Well, so look, I'm just going to have to say, we're going to break up the schoolyard fight here.
See?
Interject.
he's
and be like,
fine, I'll go to my timeout.
I'll go to my corner.
Where's my little glitter
They
bottle?
can't be that good of games because they're not on the PC.
Action.
Oh.
Man.
Oh man, not gonna touch that one.
Right?
Yeah.
So what's your email address? Where's your Twitter? We can put that up there so you can hit him with that.
Yeah, hit him, man.
Yeah.
No, but back on track though. That game looks amazing.
So Robinson the Journey is coming out for PS4 eventually when it's ready.
Eventually, yeah.
When it's ready.
Soon, trademark.
Yes.
The way it reminds me of Portal is the puzzles, and you also have a companion. Like, in Portal 2, you have that little eyeball that's following you.
That's not a companion.
Well, do you know the eyeball that's following you?
So
you might look.
Listen.
You might. No. Okay, Zelda. Hey, listen. That's more of a
everybody
companion.
goes to Navi.
Yeah.
I know, right? Everybody just goes to Navi. Okay, fine. Not
about
companion, but do you know the little guy that follows you? Do you know that, right?
D-Dog, that's a companion. D-Dog is a companion.
I take the companion word back.
Okay.
Okay, so do you know the little thing that follows you in Portal 2?
The thing that Wheatley.
Sure, Wheatley.
Wheatley doesn't really
There you go.
follow.
He doesn't
you.
really
Okay.
follow you.
He like drags you by the nose through
dear
half the
God.
game.
To the point, please.
Yes, make your
Please
point.
make your point.
In that game, you have something like that. But that one's actually a companion, though.
Does it do anything, or does it drag you by the nose like Navi?
No, it actually does stuff.
I'm imagining-
Is from what I've seen in the preview, it kind of like Navi.
I think
it
it's
just
going to be
drags
more
you
like
through
your
stuff.
Ghost in Destiny, where it just sort of pops up as a contextual sort of thing.
Because
Is it another Dinkley bot?
well, in the preview,
Okay, they actually wrote Dinklage out of that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. People backlashed against his like dry monotone delivery.
oh yeah,
Kind of like he was just this. His delivery would made the character seem completely unconcerned with what was going on around you. Like, oh look, there's people running up against you with like guns and stuff. You better want to kill them. We need to find you a ship. Let's go and meet the guy and look at this, a traveler, and this is great. And I'm gonna go take a nap now. Where's my lithium? So they changed the voice actor up and completely changed that around. Now the ghost actually is sort of because your character doesn't have much in the way of dialogue. The ghost is supposed to be there to answer your questions, but your player character is the one that's asking the questions because you as a player are asking the questions. So in a lot of senses, the ghost is supposed to be the one that translates all the future sciencey magic speak that people throw at you.
Wait. I'm going to interrupt here again.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about Destiny. Is this on the PC?
Destiny is available on the PC, yes.
No, it's not, is it? Don't lie to me. I think that's some false information.
Let's see. Nope, Destiny's a console game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope. Don't
Yeah.
care.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Okay.
All right.
Well, then you won't care about the next one I wanted to mention because it's another gaming debacle. Yeah.
This one I actually do care about because guess what? They did put it out on the PC. So ha.
As an afterthought.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so I do recommend the game if it comes out.
Okay. Robinson will
I'll play it.
We'll
I'll
see.
buy it, just like
Yeah.
you guys bought.
we look
the,
forward to your rundown on
Yeah, just like you
Robinson
bought
the
your
Journey or
game,
whatever.
the one that you have patches on.
I want to see pictures
You want to see pictures?
of you buying
$1,000
to play this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
$1,000 worth of equipment.
Or they
Yeah.
need to release it on PC. Release it on PC.
It's a VR game. You still
It's
have
a
to
VR
get
game.
VR
You
set
still have to
up.
buy VR.
I'll buy a VR system for my PC.
Okay. I want to see pictures of you spending $600 to $800 on your PC to play this game.
So, in other news and wrapping things up, I'm pretty sure.
No, I got one more after this.
Oh, okay.
A huge one on the tech
well,
side.
in other gaming news,
Fine.
yeah. So apparently Konami has made one smart move, and the litany of bad moves that I've seen them make in the last 2 years,
Okay.
probably longer, and they are not letting Metal Gear die with Kojima leaving.
Of
So
course
they're-
they did. They
they're
put out a
gonna-
pachinko machine.
So
and
they're-
that was a bad move.
So yeah, they've turned it. There's a Metal Gear and a Silent Hill pachinko machine, but now they are coming out with a side plot to Metal Gear Solid Ghosts, whatever 5 thing, but it's a 4-player co-op survival horror zombie game.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh, yeah. This was... Oh, my God. Because this
And
is
then
supposed
I'm
to be...
just going to sit back and let these guys talk because
No.
all
Okay.
I need.
No.
Look. First off, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put this
is,
right here.
This is Metal Gear Solid meets survival horror.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's like Konami
zombie survival horror,
Zombie
which
survival
is like
horror.
the friggin' do you call it? Fast food of survival horror.
And most of these
Or
games
no
have gone
zombies.
towards zombies, Nazis. So I mean, it's different.
Yeah,
Like that should be just a shelf in any kind of game store. It's
Right.
like, oh no, zombies, and just put it like all of the zombie games. In
And
there.
different types of zombies.
Oh no, zombies.
So what's this new one called again?
It's called Konami's new Metal Gear game.
Yes.
Let me see.
It's supposed to happen after Ground Zero, but before.
It's an additional
Phantom Pain.
side plot kind of thing.
So it's supposed to be a co-op game. It's supposed to deal with the soldiers after what is it? What's the base called? I guess blown up, like New Haven or whatever.
Outer Haven.
Outer Haven.
Yeah.
After Outer Haven gets blown up, and so it's because in the Phantom Pain, you're finding old soldiers and they're wandering around like idiots, and they look really, really creepy.
So get this. This is the most original title for a game ever. Metal Gear Survive.
On Survive, oh my god,
It's Metal Gear Survive.
I
Gonna leave that alone.
This is special news, people. Like, oh man, I don't even want to go on a rant here because we don't have the time, and we do have one more thing we need to cover, which is big news in the hardware industry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. On top of Intel laying off a decent amount of their workforce.
well, wait.
In the past, recently, but in the past.
Yeah. Wait. Hideo Kojima had something to say in regards to this.
Just along the lines of just slowly golf clapping and like
Walking away.
sensible chuckles, you know.
So he has flat out said Konami has blatantly ignored my well-documented 7-year plan to degenerate the series into bizarre psychosexual babble largely centered around the penis of my friend Norman Reedus, explained Kojima. Of course, this might be actually a parody thing.
What?
Points. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
You got caught up in clickbait.
I got caught up in clickbait.
Dude, clickbait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even give them the time of day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should cut that out.
Maybe.
Yeah, we should just stop and go about this big news you need to tell us.
No. So, yeah, on top of Intel laying off a sizable amount of their workforce recently, apparently Cisco
is laying off nearly 20% of their workforce. 14,000 employees. 14,000.
which is the biggest layoff in Cisco history, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And probably one of the biggest layoffs in tech history.
Okay.
Yeah. Since the bubble burst, the .com bubble burst.
Yes. And it's this way they're going to start focusing more on software versus hardware.
Which makes me wonder, who are they giving up that market to? Because I always thought it was just Cisco.
Right? And like
Brocade.
Never heard of them.
You don't follow. You're not.
I'm not
networking.
in the networking.
No, you're not into networking.
No, my view is if
Juniper.
they should change it from networking to not working. But
Yeah, it works very well, but I mean the problem is
Juniper.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's Brocade, Juniper. There's a few others out there. Remember they bought Linksys for a while, but then they sold Linksys to Belkin. On the enterprise side, they are starting to lose some, but software centric is kind of nice because everything's starting to go virtual, and there has to be these virtual networks. So they're trying to build better networking stacks for to interact with like VMware.
Okay.
I mean, there's huge things with storage and VMware.
This is all industry side kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So what does this say? What does this say for the consumer side of things? Because Cisco, I mean, all of this industry side stuff does have an effect. I mean, it's always a ripple effect. So, we're going to see a change in internet providers,
No.
or the capabilities of internet, or games that are serving levels and stuff.
I don't think so, because everything's getting faster, and Cisco's already been trying to move to software as a service for how everything is updated for their routers and their switches, and what versions of their Cisco iOS are running on their stuff. But the thing is, with the throughput right now, I don't think we're going to see. You're not going to see too much of this from a enterprise standpoint. This is more of a business aspect you're going to see. So who knows? We might see smaller ISPs start to have a harder time. They're going to switch off of like Cisco over to some of the other providers that are not doing software as a service. But
Brocade, Juniper.
So why not just put that 14,000 people and have them sign into software instead of just laying them off and keep hardware?
Well, so what they reported was they have a broader plan to cut 15% of its overall costs.
Okay.
So getting rid of a decent amount of your workforce is one of the ways that you cut costs, and it's probably one of the easiest ways to cut costs and a drastic amount of reduction in costs.
Yeah.
The thing is, these as the industry changes, these 14,000 jobs are just redundant, and that's a harsh thing to say because some people this is their livelihood and things like that. But as the industry progresses and these jobs become less necessary, and you have these specially trained, and this is where specialization kind of comes back to bite you. If you're specially trained in this system, and the system itself becomes obsolete, that's the only skill that you have developed.
Yeah, and they are slowly losing out on their hardware base because Cisco was the name when it came to networking hardware and equipment and everything like that.
It's the only name I knew.
Yeah, but on the back end, Juniper came along and has been ate up like 33% of their market share. That's huge. So of course they're going to have to lay off 15,000 people. But the thing is we're getting to a point of saturation, where where there's not necessarily too many more lines and massive expansion that needs to happen unless you're like in rural areas, but in a lot of the main areas. And then you have Google coming in with their own fiber, and everything too. So,
and now Comcast, there's rumors and rumblings that Comcast is actually trying to break into fiber as well. They're test bedding Comcast. Comcast is test bedding some sort of fiber network, I believe, in Texas somewhere.
Okay.
So they might actually trying to compete with Google Fiber, which is, I understand that's Google right now is the big name in fiber internet as it's being slowly rolled out. Not fast enough in my tastes, but if Comcast is trying to keep up, then most of the other fiber providers out there need to get off their asses and actually start like rolling out there, because now the big boys are coming in to take over their market. So,
well, it's not just that. The thing is like Cisco's been the old lumbering giant, and now they're starting to have to become more agile. Surprisingly, besides Juniper, one of their competitors is HP. HP in the enterprise switching market has taken a 10% share. They're the number 2 vendor, and it's because of their acquisition of 3Com. So HP is one of the areas that they're doing well is in the enterprise switching market. Dell's even getting into the enterprise switching market, and so Cisco needs to become more agile. So they're doing this to potentially survive, and it sucks that they have to lay off this much, but it's huge because everybody knows Cisco.
Yeah. And to see that, the unfortunate part about it is having to justify layoffs like that doesn't really change the viewpoint or the impression that a company having to lay off that many people is not a company that is doing well.
Yes.
And that's the unfortunate part, is layoffs are just a part of the tech world. Even if it may be because the company made some less than
it's part of any
decisions.
world, not just tech world.
Well, yeah, but it's been the major thing that's been reported in tech business for the longest I can remember. Most of the time you hear this big outcry about layoffs, and lots of layoffs. It's tech companies which have to make changes in stride because of innovation, because of new things coming out or new changes in the industry, and it renders this specialized workforce obsolete, and they have to end up going out and re-specializing. So I don't know. It seems like there's a problem with the system. It's not just a problem with the companies or anything like that.
Yeah.
That this many people will be displaced is kind of bad. It's a bad thing in general. It's not a bad thing because of Cisco. It's not even Cisco's fault. It's the system's fault.
Yeah. No.
In my mind, it's something broken in the industry.
Well, Cisco's a huge, huge company. Remember, they ate up a lot of things. You think of them just for networking, but they're one of the other things that they were big in early on was voice over IP, and Polycom and Avaya is starting to eat them up in that market too. So this is because Cisco either did not shed or split properly, or move around fast enough. They're getting their butts whooped. So, I would love to see Cisco stay around. I mean, I've gone to school for network management. I've been Cisco certified in the past, and they are very solid, and they are still what everybody in the market emulates, at this point in time, and their certifications are still some of the best. So, hopefully they pull through, and we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm pulling for them. I think hopefully they can weather this and actually come out on top.
Yeah,
because it's better to have somebody with a good rap sheet in the industry, a good track record in charge of this stuff than some new upstart coming in and trying to radicalize everything. And established systems and technology work because everybody uses them like that. You start making a change and it needs to be something that is widely adopted very fast. Otherwise it's not going to work. And that's the unfortunate part.
Well, that is some major news.
Yeah, it definitely is. So I think that's all we have this week. Unless
that's all I'm tapped.
No, I'm tapped, man. I'm done.
All right.
I did enough talking.
Well, thank you again, all of our Arizona viewers that have been liking this on Facebook. Go ahead and keep finding us on Facebook. You can find us at Jenny Fedora Productions. You can find us on Twitter at Jenny_Fedora. You can now find us on YouTube by actually using our vanity URLs. We have Jenny Fedora Reviews, where the podcast will be up at. And then we have regular Jenny Fedora for all of our gaming and all our fun videos there.
And you'll see these listed in the end card.
And thank you all viewers.
Yeah.
Not just Arizona.
Thanks for joining us.
And thank you.
Glad to see you.
Yes. Y'all, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
In the zombie apocalypse, actually the first thing that I would care about is food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Corn.
Hey.
Food and water.
Right?